Okay, let's think about this. You wake up, maybe grab some coffee, head off to work or whatever you've got planned. We all sort of have this rhythm, right?
We do. A sequence of things that just happen
Yeah.
day in, day out. It's kind of the foundation, isn't it? These daily routines.
Exactly. They really structure our lives.
Yeah, and basically a daily routine is just that. A familiar order of things we do every day. It gives shape to our time.
And that's precisely what we're digging into today. We've got this interesting source material. It's actually a podcast script.
Oh, really?
Yeah, designed for English language learners. Now, that might sound, a bit basic, but it actually gives a super clear picture of common daily patterns and, importantly, some really useful language for talking about it all.
Right. So our mission here, kind of twofold, really. First, let's pull out the key parts of what makes a typical daily routine, using this script as our example.
Okay.
And second, we want to give you some practical ways to actually talk about your own day, maybe even think about how it's structured.
Sounds good. So let's get into it. The script introduces us to James. He's 26, a graphic designer living in New York City.
Right, NYC. Busy place.
And his day kicks off around 7 a.m.
Yeah, the script says, I wake up at 7 a.m. every day. Simple sentence, but it's, it's the anchor point, isn't it?
It really is.
For lots of people, that consistent wake-up time, it makes a big difference to your internal clock, your energy all day.
Definitely. And then come those things you barely think about. Brushing teeth, washing his face. It's funny how those tiny habits are so fundamental.
They really are, yeah. It's not just about, being clean.
No.
It's also signaling to your brain, okay, the day started. Time to switch from sleep mode to being awake mode.
A transition, yeah. Next up, fuel, breakfast. For James, it's eggs and toast. And coffee, of course.
Can't forget the coffee.
A classic combo. You can see how these choices, even though they're personal, they tap into that basic need for, energy. And that morning caffeine hit.
Exactly. Someone else might have oatmeal or maybe a smoothie, but the idea is the same, isn't it? Getting some energy back after sleeping. And the ritual itself, making and eating that first meal, that can be pretty important psychologically, too.
Good point. So around 8 a.m., James is getting ready to leave. He heads out and takes a 30-minute bus ride to work. The commute. Such a big part of many routines, especially in cities.
Oh, yeah. And that travel time, it's often more than just getting from A to B, right?
For sure.
Think about it. For some people, it's their chance to, read the news, listen to something like this.
Right, or just mentally get ready for work.
Exactly. It's this kind of in-between space. Can really set the tone for the start of the workday.
So James's workday starts at 9. Graphic designer, so likely a lot of computer time.
You'd think so, yeah. The script mentions working on a computer, answering emails, having meetings, standard office stuff, pretty much.
And then, loads of office workers lunch with colleagues at 1 p.m.
And what's key there is the workday structure itself. You've got these blocks of focused work.
Right.
Then communication, collaboration, and then that specific time for a break. Food, social interaction. It's a common pattern across lots of jobs.
The afternoon sounds like more work, winding up around 5 p.m. But here's where we see a bit of personal choice coming in. Sometimes he goes to the gym after work.
Yeah, and that's a great example of how individual priorities slot into the daily framework. The core work hours might be fixed, but the time outside that's where you fit in things like exercise, hobbies, whatever matters to you.
Evenings for James seem to be about winding down. He usually makes dinner simple stuff, pasta or rice with vegetables.
I'm familiar.
Then it's relaxation time, watching TV, maybe reading a book, before heading to bed around 10:30 p.m.
So you see that clear pattern emerging, right? Work, then maybe exercise, then home stuff like dinner, then leisure.
Yeah.
All geared towards rest and getting ready for sleep. It really shows the different needs we juggle in a 24-hour cycle.
And the script, the source material, it does a nice job highlighting some really useful phrases from James's day.
Oh, yeah? Like what?
Well, things like, I wake up at 7 a.m., I brush my teeth, I go to work by bus, simple stuff.
Right. I have lunch at 1 p.m.?
Exactly. I cook dinner in the evening, and I go to bed at 10:30 p.m. These are really the basic building blocks you need to talk about your own day.
They absolutely are. These sentences, they cover the main anchors of a typical day. And they're like templates, aren't they?
Totally.
You just swap in your own times, your own activities. It shows how much of our everyday chat revolves around these routine actions.
Yeah, and the script even had this little repetition exercise.
For the language learners.
Right. I wake up at 7, I go to work, I have lunch at 1 o'clock, I watch TV in the evening, I go to bed at 10:30. It's a basic learning technique, sure, but it also just hammers home how embedded these routines are in our language and how we think about the day.
Precisely. Repeating those phrases doesn't just help with English. It underlines that predictability, that regularity that shapes so many of our lives.
Hmm.
And if you think bigger picture, that kind of structure, it can bring a real sense of order. It might even free up mental energy, by making some parts of the day automatic.
That makes sense. So, okay, let's bring it all together. We've walked through James's day from that 7 a.m. alarm
Right.
all the way to winding down for bed. It's a really clear, concrete example of what a daily routine can look like.
And those key phrases we pulled out, I wake up at, I go to, I have lunch at.
Yeah.
They give you, the listener, a really direct, practical way to describe your own rhythm.
Yeah, starting points for talking about your day-to-day.
Exactly.
Which kind of leads us to a final thought inspired by that challenge time in the original script. Take a second and think about your own day.
Mm-hmm.
What are the absolute non-negotiables in your routine, the things that have to happen?
Good question.
And maybe, just maybe, what small change could you make? Something tiny to bring a bit more structure, or perhaps just a little more satisfaction to your day. It's definitely worth thinking about those habits, those patterns that shape your unique daily life.